Hi everybody, it's Simon Keeling here. Wednesday the 19th of October. Got an update for you on how things are likely to develop over the next week to 2 weeks. Now we've got lots of, well, let's be polite and call them pseudo-scientists making claims across the media about what winter's going to be like, and of course the newspapers are picking up on it and running with it, anything to kind of grab a headline. So we're working on the winter forecast just at the moment. As soon as I've got a kind of firm idea as to what's likely to happen, then I'll get it to you. There's some discrepancy actually between the forecasters here. I've got a long range specialist here who we're in disagreement about what we think the winter is likely to hold. I think we agree on the pattern. It's just that I think the detail of the conditions are probably where we're disagreeing. So we're going to go through it and keep discussing it. And as soon as we've got some semblance of agreement, I'll put together a video for you about where we think winter is going to go. But what is interesting is to take a look at these sea surface temperature anomaly charts, and it's just interesting to note the size of this La Nina event, this cold pool of water here across the Pacific Ocean. Cool water in the middle part of the Atlantic as well, and this tends to have the effect of enhancing convection in places. Now it's this event here which is of significance, because if we take a look at the forecast for La Nina, anything below zero is La Nina, anything above is El Nino. And last year, look, you see through the cold winter of last year how that was below, and we were in a La Nina year last year. Now look, it picked up as we went to July and became almost neutral, but then just look what's happened here. Look at the plunge that's forecast to take place. These are all various different models that you can see through here. The black line, the dotted line, is the mean of those models, but just look how it plunges, and it's through the critical parts of the winter that it plunges. Now there is a link between La Nina and what weather we have in the Northern Hemisphere. It tends to promote a blocking pattern, so it could be hinting at a cold winter, but I'm not going to fall into that trap just yet. Give us a few days and let us just try and get our head around exactly what this is signalling. But that is one hell of a La Nina there, a really, really strong La Nina phenomena taking place. However, let's get back to the present. We've got some questions as well over what happens after the middle part of next week. This is a 7 to 10 day means from ECMWF on the left to GFS on the right, and these are from next Wednesday through to Saturday the 29th. So it's that 7 to 10 day period that these are referring to. We've got 500 millibar heights, which are the black lines here where they're close together. We get a jet stream, and the anomalies in those heights as well. Blue lower than normal, red is higher than normal. And ECMWF develops this trough look towards the west of the UK and the western parts of Europe, and kind of GFS is trying to do the same thing, but it is notably building the heights to the north of the British Isles, as is the ECMWF very strongly up here. However, the trough off the eastern seaboard of the States is way more pronounced on the ECMWF than it is on GFS. GFS tending to hold this system back. Now, I think what we can take from this are these higher heights across these more northern parts of the British Isles, or to the north of the British Isles. Good agreement that high pressure is likely to be building here, so I think we can get a firmer idea as to what conditions are likely to be like back end of the next week, particularly with this trough centred towards the southwest. I think what this is hinting at is that after a mild southwesterly flow through the country this weekend, particularly affecting Scotland and Ireland, and the south being generally dry, I think what we'll find is low pressure positioning itself into the Bay of Biscay during the back end of next week, bringing the flow around into the east or the southeast, and bringing those east to southeasterly winds, and probably most of us fairly unsettled but dry conditions across Scotland. Let's just run through it then from day to day. This is how the GFS model sees things. The time here, top left hand corner. Here's today, look, high pressure out towards the west, and there's our cold northwesterly winds towards the east clearing away. In comes average high pressure during the course of tonight and through Thursday. A cold morning tomorrow, probably well below freezing, and then look, we get a front that moves into western Scotland and through Ireland during the course of Thursday, bringing rain here, tending to be focused though for western Ireland and western Scotland, which dry to the south with the high pressure remaining in situ. Now that's the situation as we get through Friday with this front across Western Scotland and Western Ireland, and pretty strong winds. Now bear in mind this area of rain could be a little bit further south, but it just gives you an idea of where it's expected to be through Friday. And then through Saturday, the winds turning more to the south, which brings fine and dry weather for most of us on Saturday, although always the threat of some low cloud and bits of drizzle affecting western coasts and more persistent rain coming into western parts of Scotland. Into Sunday, so the flow stays in the south. Look, it stays dry, but here's that area of low pressure hinting at this change starting to take place into the early to middle part of next week. Here it comes. Look, very unsettled weather, that all associated with this trough developing in the Bay of Biscay, and the flow turns around more into the southeast. It sends a front northwards during the course of Wednesday. Look, only as weak features, but as this low is forecast to move its way eastwards, the flow is coming more in. The low is forecast to move eastwards. The flow comes more into the east and sends these pulses of showery rain northwards before turning more persistent as we get through into the back end of next week, with low pressure really taking control by then. Now I think that's probably a believable pattern, with the weather turning more unsettled as we get through into next weekend and towards the end of the month. That certainly looks to be a believable pattern to me. So I think if we go for the weather turning considerably more unsettled during the middle to the back end of next week, through next weekend, and perhaps into the following week, so that's start of November, then I think we're not going to be far wrong. Big change though over the next couple of days is going to be the rise in temperature as the winds go from the northwest into the southwest. Certainly it'll become milder as we go through Friday and into Saturday as well. Okay, so thanks for watching. Do keep the sun shining, and don't forget, if you see an advert around the screen here that you like, do click on it, because it's the advertisers that pay for this forecast to still be free of charge. So if there's anything on there that you like, anything on there you want to click on, please do take yourself to the advertiser and show your support for weatherweb.net, and also for the advertiser that you see. Thanks for watching, have a great day, and keep the sun shining.